Chapter 14. Why are you sad? Why are you early? Angelica didn't want to talk about either of those things, but she had to explain to Mariana, the babysitter, why she had returned some hours before expected. All she wanted to do was go to bed and rest her aching head. The events of the night played on her mind more and more with every passing second. The only way Angelica could think to remove them was to go to sleep. Something happened, Angelica said, sitting down on a sofa in the front room, Mariana sitting on the sofa opposite. They met eye to eye. Angelica felt it should have been uncomfortable, but it was nothing of the sort. It brought comfort, reminding Angelica that there was good in the world. The elderly neighbour waited for Angelica to compose herself. She knew that pressing someone when they were clearly in an emotional state wouldn't bring her the answers she needed. "I'll make tea," she said. "The kettle's only just boiled." She knew the English penchant for a cup of tea in times of crisis. In fact, the English penchant for tea at any time of the day or night. Angelica nodded. A minute later, the tea arrived on the surface next to Angelica. The steam roaring into the February night air was the same way that a fire might have the same effect on a February night back home in the northeast of England. After blowing across the top of the cup to bring it down to a drinkable temperature, Angelica took a gulp. She was ready to talk. There was a killing. A woman on the sofa next to the toilets. She was alive when I went in, dead when I came out. I can't believe it, Angelica explained. I told you no good comes of the Valentine's masked ball. And they were the final words the pair of them spoke about Angelica's trip out for the evening. The rest of the conversation centred around Tommy and what he'd been up to. He had bounced up and down to the point where Mariana thought he might be sick. She had never seen such energy expanded in such a short space of time, but Angelica had. That was Tommy. He knew how to make himself tired enough for bed, that was sure. By the time they had spoken about Tommy, Angelica could feel her own bed calling. She had yawned her way through their conversation, noting that she had to rest her eyes every minute or so for 5 to 10 seconds. These were sure signs that she needed to retire to bed. Mariana had noticed these signs too, and made her excuses to go back to her own apartment. She would be up for a while later, but could see that Angelica needed her rest. "I'll leave you in peace now. Get a good night's sleep, Angelica." "Thank you. You too." With all the events of the evening, Angelica fully expected that she wouldn't be able to get to sleep. She got excited and terrified whenever she was close to death. It had happened on a more and more frequent basis since her brother Augustine had visited her and Tommy in Spain months before. He was a murder detective in the northeast of England. Maybe he'd brought some of his work with him and left it here. Maybe. But Angelica managed to drop off in a matter of minutes. After had Mariana left, she checked on Tommy, a habit from when he was born that she expected to continue until the day he left home. Then she brushed both her teeth and her hair before taking off her clothes and slipping between the sheets. Angelica's bed was set up so she could be in it within seconds. The corner of the duvet folded down, so all she had to do was slip inside. She dreamt of a world where she was the murder detective instead of Augustine. She wanted adventure in her life, while at the same time protecting Tommy from the dangers of the world. Angelica knew she couldn't get involved with the solving of murders, but she also knew that she would be drawn into this one.